What is up, Savages? It is Monday, June 3rd, 2019. Hope you guys are doing awesome. As always, thanks so much for everyone watching, liking, subscribing, and all that cool stuff. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. We are back for another random coin mining show, although tonight wasn't really completely random because it was kind of handpicked by me. Based on a number of factors that were going on in the market and, chatter online and Twitter and all that stuff. So, and I had been looking to redo a video on how to mine Ravencoin for quite some time now, because the one that I did a few months back, I had the background audio cranked, or the background music cranked way too loud. Whenever I was whenever I was editing, it didn't sound that loud. But once I got to it, it was like, whoa, this is like super loud. And if you're not familiar, it's really hard to change that like after you upload it and stuff. So I just left it. Although that video is my most watched, I think. Let's see here. Yeah, right here. It's not a whole lot of views, but I mean, it is 3.2K, over 3,000 views for that particular video. So I thought it was important to go ahead and maybe redo it. And plus there's some things that have changed, so I felt it was time. So that is kind of what we're going to be looking at is Ravencoin. I started a little bit early because I wanted to talk about Ravencoin a little bit and maybe show some extra stuff besides just how to mine it and things like that. I'm not going to totally interact with the chat right now because I'm kind of testing my machine to see because on the last stream, it seemed as though as soon as I switched over to YouTube, like to basically view my own stream so that I could keep up with the chat, that's whenever it locked up. So I'm going to kind of test that tonight and try not to get into the chat so much. I mean, I've got a popped out chat window, so I might be able to let me see here. Yeah, so I can see kind of what's going on. Let me know if anybody's here. I don't really want to get to that window. Just type something into chat just to let me know that we are live and everything's going good. Everything looks good on my end. So I am going to keep going, but let me switch over to here just to see if there's any viewers, and there's not. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, I know I'm like super early, and you might not have got the word, but on Twitter, I did update the reminder or the time that we were going live, which is usually 9:30, but I changed it to 9:15 just to give us a little bit more time because Ravencoin is kind of a in-depth project, there's a lot to it, so I kind of wanted to discuss that first. But I did put out a tweet updating the time and stuff like that as well. So I know it was kind of short fused, but if you're here just for the mining part of it, then we'll probably hit that right around 9:30, maybe 9:40 or something like that. So I will just get going here, and let's see here. Before we get started, though, let's take a quick look at the market. It was not looking good. Man, we took a massive hit like real quick. It did not take long at all. It was like just over the course of a couple minutes, it seems like anyway. Yeah, crushed for a little bit. If you were looking for a sub $8,000 BTC, you got it. And if you're looking for a sub $250 Ethereum, you got it. So there's some deals out there, I guess you could say. So let's look at CoinMarketCap. Do a quick refresh here. Pretty bloody, for sure. Not a lot of anything great going on out there. Maximine still pumping. Metaverse still looking good. I don't know why. Those are funny ones. All right, so let's look at our market cap is 256 billion. Our volume is 81 billion, and BTC dominance, Bitcoin dominance, pulled back a little bit to 55. I think it was at 56 yesterday. 55.8. I want to say the volume was a little higher yesterday as well. Don't know for sure. Don't remember. Let's look at some of our favorite, most requested coins just to get an idea of what's going on. We'll start with Raven since we're going to be talking about Raven tonight. They were up pretty good today. I think they were at 7.075 cents. And they're still up against BTC, which is a good sign. Rank 35. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Let's look at Swap, XWP. Whoa! Swap is killing it. Okay, that's good to see. 43% up against BTC. That's awesome. Good job. I like that. Let's look at eGem. Down a little bit. They're still at a penny, basically. Let's look at Loki. I've got one of those mechanical keyboards. That's why it's so loud. Sorry about that. They're up just a little bit. They've been hanging around that 16-cent mark for a really long time now. Still up against BTC, though. That's good. Outperforming. Let's go with Nimic, which I can never spell correctly. I always want to put Zim for some reason. Okay, not even a penny. Down a little bit. Still up against BTC though. Go BITC for Bitcash. Recently added to CoinMarketCap. Took a little hit today, but whenever you're only 7 cents, it happens. Pretty volatile. I mean, look at the volume. The volume's super low, so not really worried about that. Look at Aeon. Down a little bit. They were bouncing around 22 cents earlier. They got a huge amount of volume. Down a little bit against Bitcoin. That's not good. But they are under 100, so they're in the top 100. That's cool. And we'll look at Zell Cash. I know I have a pretty long list here. I have about 10 that I like to keep my eye on, Zell Cash looking okay. Still down a little bit, but up against BTC. Pretty good volume for them. That's not bad. And CCX, Conceal Coin. Down a little bit. They're another one that's just hanging around that 15-cent mark, Super strong privacy coin. And ETC has been absolutely killing it. They were doing really well. For the past couple, maybe about a month. Yeah, about a month they've been doing pretty well. I guess at the beginning of the month they were, so it's about 100, maybe a little bit, from the low point it's a little bit more than 100, almost 100%. So that is cool. And then we'll look at Bitcoin Diamond, everyone's favorite. See where they're doing. All right, down a little bit. So that is a real quick look at the market. Let's also take a quick look at what I am mining. On the NVIDIA rig, Kessel, I'm mining Raven. Have been for a couple days now. And then on the other rig is still off because of power situation. I just haven't got it worked out yet. I will eventually get that rig back up and running. I do turn it on from time to time. It just depends on what I want to mine. But right now, since I'm mining Raven, I've got the NVIDIA rig on. And then on the co-owned rigs, we are still mining Conceal over there on those two rigs. So Raven and Conceal. Let's take a quick look at what to mine. And specifically, let's look at an NVIDIA rig. This is Kessel. This is how it's configured. The rig that we're going to be messing with probably mostly tonight. And if you look at, what's most profitable at the moment, it is Ravencoin. Nice hash, of course, is in there. And then Swap, Zcoin, Ethereum Classic. Pretty strong leaderboard there. And it's kind of cool that we're going to be talking about Ravencoin tonight whenever it's at the top of the list. So that's kind of a hit that nail on the head kind of thing, right? And it's good to see rigs in the $5 range. That's a good sign. Haven't seen that in a while. And as far as an AMD rig goes, we'll just go with an 8 GPU 580, see what's going on over there. No surprise really that Ethereum Classic is at the top. Ethereum, Metaverse, that one was, you remember that one was doing pretty well as well. Dubai Coin, Callisto, all doing all right. And I've got 10 cents, I think, in here. No, 8 cents as power. It's probably actually realistically more about 10 for me, so after taxes and fees and all that stuff. Not going to change too much, but there you go. So that is a quick look at what to mine and what I am mining. So tonight we are going to take a closer look at Ravencoin, or RVN. Let me check the chat, see if anybody's over there yet. Okay, there's 3 people watching. I don't know if anybody's chatting or not. Hey, what's up, Michael Andrew Hurd? I think you have to have 6 gigabyte GPUs for swap, if I'm not mistaken. But hit up their Discord. They are super helpful over there. So that's what I would recommend for that type of question. But I think it's 6 gig. So tonight we're going to take a look at Ravencoin, or RVN, and just a reminder or a disclaimer, this video is definitely not sponsored in any way whatsoever by anyone. This is just me talking about a project that I'm interested in, and that is literally it. It could be sponsored by Fireball Whiskey, but that's not really official. I have not and will not receive any compensation for making this video unless it's via like a donation link, which I do have in the description of this video. Okay, I'm making this video unless hopefully my machine doesn't die, but it is right here. I'm not asking for donations. I don't need a donation, but there it is if you want to donate, and that's for Raven only. So don't send me anything else besides Raven. All right, and yeah, so that is the general stuff. There's a lot to cover, so I'm going to have to go kind of fast, although I did get a little bit of an early start, so that's good. So we can just hit it right at 9:30, basically 9:29, and get into it. I'm not going to be interacting with the chat so much, so I don't get distracted. And if my machine locks up again, you guys know I've been having this weird problem with streaming, and it'll just randomly lock up, and it only does it during streaming. And I haven't built my other machine yet. So if it does lock up, please come back. I will be back up and running in a couple minutes. So just bear with me if that does in fact happen. So let's talk about Ravencoin. Then we are going to get into the mining stuff. So what exactly is Ravencoin? Well, it's a fork of the Bitcoin code focused solely on the simple creation, issuance, and transfer of assets, also called tokens. You'll see it written as both tokens and assets. And these can be digital, physical, or both. The assets can be anything from shares in a company to a collectible or even real estate. So a good example would be, see if I can remember this. So, for example, let's say you own, or you're looking to own a rental property, and you want to accept investments on it. Like, let's say you have some partners, and everybody wants to own a certain part of it. You could create an asset representing that property and include all the details about the property in the asset's IPFS, or interplanetary file system, if you wanted to. Then you could issue the tokens to the investors that correlate to their percentage of the investment, based on percentages and things like that. In the future, you'll be able to, now in future releases of Ravencoin, you'll be able to issue dividends to the investors via those tokens and the Ravencoin network. So, for example, if you, let's say you purchase the property, you rent it out, you have income, you can distribute that income through the Ravencoin network to those asset holders, the investors in this case, and it's all done on the blockchain, stored forever. And immutable. So that is a kind of a cool thing whenever you're talking about assets and transferring property and things like that. Super incredible use case, and yeah, cool, really cool stuff. Also in the future, you'll be able to allow the shareholders, and whenever I say in the future, I mean in future releases of Ravencoin, you'll be able to allow the investors to vote on issues concerning the property. For example, let's say that you have that rental property and you need to do some upgrades. Let's say you need to put a new roof on it or something like that. You could actually vote. You could send out the message to the stakeholders or the asset holders for this particular property, and then you could ask them to vote and use the network to vote of whether or not you're going to do the upgrade, or how much how much they're willing to allow the upgrade to cost, or whatever whatever the repair is, or whatever you're actually voting on. So that's just another cool feature that will be in future releases of Ravencoin. Also did a couple videos on a possible use case for Raven assets for a GPU mining farm back in, I don't know, it was a few months ago, I think, that I did it. And let me see here, bring this up here.
Or maybe the more popular established coins. We may go
this
2 or 3 nights, depending on
basically what I was saying in these videos is,
and I did a poll on
investors
Twitter,
could purchase
like
a GPU for you to host, and that ownership would be registered as a serialized unique asset sent to the owners or investors.
What my plan is,
and the asset details stored in IPFS.
That we land on that.
What I wanted to show you here was this right here. This is kind of funny. Look at that price. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is not live, guys. This is from February, I think. Yeah, February 26th. Wish I could go back in time and snatch some more of this stuff up. But yeah. But that's not what the video is about. The video is about that use case. And if you want to look at where Ravencoin was at the time, okay, so it was on February 26th, it was at 1 penny, 1.1, right? Or 0 point is 0.011. So if you look today at Ravencoin, I don't know if y'all noticed what it was at. It's at 7 cents. So that's pretty strong, right? All right, so that's not really what I have a better, I did want to show you guys that because I thought it was kind of interesting. But there is this other video here. And this is the one that talks about the actual use case and the GPUs and all that stuff. So in this case, in this video, we created a unique asset that had a serial number. It was a GPU, one GPU that had a serial number. So that's what I named it in the IPFS, or I'm sorry, on the Ravencoin network. That's what the name is. And it's underneath of SavageMine, which is the what they call it, a master asset or the top level asset, right? Then the information right here where it says add JSON metadata hash, I actually added a picture to IPFS that looked like this. And this has a picture of the GPU, a picture of the front, the back, the serial number of it installed in a rig and powered on, and then the serial number in the rig itself. And then what rig it was in, the serial number. Now obviously you can make this whatever you wanted. I mean, we just used PowerPoint and fixed it up that way. So it was kind of neat. And we can actually look at, I think, yeah, let's get over there and let's look at an actual asset. So we're going to go to just to kind of hit the point home about the IPFS and all that stuff. Let's go to Ravenland. We're going to use their Asset Explorer. This is Ravenland. This is not necessarily directly associated with Ravencoin, but they are developers that work on some cool stuff on top of the Ravencoin network. So if we go to Explorers and go to Asset Explorer, we want to look for SavageMine. I think I can get there from here. Yeah. So whenever you search all of all of the Ravencoin network, this is what you come up with. And these are the assets that are on the network. So it's like an explorer specifically for assets. But if you click on the one that we created for the GPU, you get a little bit more information. And you can see right here it has an IPFS hash, or an interplanetary filing system. And if you click on that, it's going to go out to IPFS, and there is the picture. So this is on the blockchain. This is on the network, on IPFS, and it's referenced from the network to IPFS, or from IPFS. So if I were to send this, let's say that someone else owned this GPU, they purchased it from me, right? Then I could send this asset to them, to their wallet that supports assets, right? Then I can send them, let's say that the profits for the month for this one GPU was $3. Then I could send them $3 worth of Ravencoin to this asset and be done with it, right? Now their dividends, their profits have been distributed to them, and there you go. So that is just a real quick little overview of the capabilities of some of the capabilities of the Ravencoin network and the asset layer and all that stuff. It is some really cool stuff if you get into it. Now, it would seem like these capabilities are really, if you think about it, they're only limited by your imagination and its use, right? Some people believe that this asset capability can be embedded inside of the existing Bitcoin blockchain, and in some ways it can, but the problem is that that Bitcoin rules have to be followed as they were written originally. So the key point is that Bitcoin nodes are not asset aware. So they're not they're not ready to manage, transfer, create assets, right, by default, the way that the code was written originally. So that is the key point. The nodes are not asset aware. So, and on top of that, you would have to send Bitcoin with the asset. And you can kind of see how inconvenient that is. And in addition, the real danger is if a Bitcoin client spends the BTC that has the asset information with it without being aware of the embedded asset, because that asset's now going to be lost. And I would assume that you would experience the same thing if you were to send a Raven asset to an address that was not asset aware, like maybe like the Koinomi wallet, right? I think that's how it would work. So you would actually lose that asset. You need to send it to an asset aware device or client. Now, unlike Bitcoin, Ravencoin is fully asset aware. Now, I don't know if that means that every wallet, I wonder what would happen if you were to send, this was something I should have probably researched before the video, but that's a good question that I now just brought up to myself. I wonder what would happen if you were to send an asset to an address in a wallet that was not asset aware, like Koinomi or something like that. I wonder what would happen. It would probably just go away. I would imagine that the asset would go away. But the whole Ravencoin network is asset aware, so maybe that takes over. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I might have to play around with that. Anyway, not to get too far off topic there. Some reasons that I believe that Raven will do well in the coming years and possibly break into the top 10 on CoinMarketCap fairly soon is they are currently ranked 35. I believe that they're still 35. Yep, they're still 35 right now. I took some notes earlier. So, and I believe that that's the highest or the lowest they've ever been ranked. So I'm pretty sure that 35 is the highest. I know that 285, I mean, obviously, 285 million market cap, that's the highest ever. And they have had around a 90 million volume, which is a massive volume if you think about it for a sub 10 cent USD valued crypto. I mean, $90 million in volume. That's kind of huge in my opinion. What's up, everybody that's showing up here? Bit9K, Shuby, what's up, man? Just checking the chat real quick. And some other reasons why I think it's going to do well. It's currently up over 700% in 2019, and it's even beating Binance Coin, which everybody looks at Binance Coin as being like this awesome creation or this awesome token, you know, that huge profits and, you know, mooning and all that stuff, but it's not doing even as well as Ravencoin has done this year. So it has outperformed all mineable coins and ICOs, and when it captures even 1% of the overall market, that means that it should be worth dollars, not cents, right, at that point. Now, some details about Ravencoin themselves. They were announced publicly on October 1st, 2017, but the binaries weren't uploaded to GitHub repository until January 3rd of 2018, which happened to coincide with the 9th anniversary for Bitcoin release, which was January 3rd of 2009, right? So they also released the initial white paper, which was nothing more than, at the time, was nothing more than the x16r white paper, is basically what it was. This is what was released around the same time as the binary release, and they took a little bit of flack for this, just simply because it was not really a white paper for Ravencoin as much as it was a description of x16r. So, but we got past that. So the Bitcoin Talk announcement thread was created on April 2nd of 2018, with the actual white paper released on the next day. So you had this come out, everyone was super familiar with x16r by the time the actual white paper came out, but that was the next day. So I think I want to say I can get to that pretty quick here. Yeah, if you click on white paper on their website here, you'll see that there's white paper, but then there's also the x16r paper. So the white paper looks like this. I don't know why it starts way down there, but it was written by Bruce Fenton and Tron Black, 3rd April 2018. And another reason that I'm pretty confident in Ravencoin, you know, being pretty successful, is that it has never seen an actual crypto bull run. Because look at the dates. If it was announced on October 1st, it wasn't out yet. It wasn't able to be mined yet. Okay, that was in 2017. That was, you know, the beginning of the crazy bull run. But by the time that it was launching on January 3rd of 2018, things had started coming down. I want to say that Bitcoin was 10,000, and it had come down to 10,000 from 19,800 or whatever it was. So it was already down almost 50%. And then by the time that the announcement thread came out on April 2nd, I think it was down to 6,000 something, right? 6,800 or something like that. So it has been literally, it's like a lot of us, right? Where it has survived the bear market, you know, the 2018 bear market. So that is something to note. And some other factors that play into where I think the project is going. Raven is what I call a quad zip, no pre-mine, which I just call it that because it has no pre-mine, no ICO or airdrops, no dev or founders reward, and no masternodes. And it was a fair launch, although there's some criticism to how it was launched. But Clearly, there were people that knew about the launch on January 3rd before general people, even miners that stayed on top of things, really didn't know that it was released because they didn't do the announcement thread until April, right? So there was a couple months there where it was not very well known, put it that way. It's a community project with no unethical schemes to raise money for the project, no marketing or fundraising, but here it is. It's ranked 35 in overall market cap out of thousands and thousands of projects. If it was looked at exclusively on its own merits by itself, it doesn't have any risk to being called a security by the SEC. All value in market cap is organic through the marketplace trading. It is open source, but the main devs are Tron, Black, and Joel Waite. I believe that those are. I know Tron is, and they have Bruce Fenton on as an advisor. I don't believe there are any fees that have ever been paid to exchanges to be listed, and it was recently added. Well, at the end of last year, it was added fee-free to Binance, just due to having a strong fundamentals and lack of controversy surrounding the project. So it's hard to talk about the beginning of Raven without bringing up Patrick Byrne, the CEO of Overstock. He's basically a crypto visionary mentored by Warren Buffett, and along with the premier digital assets exchange T0, let me bring that up real quick here. They donated, they being Overstock and T0, they donated their time and effort to support the initial development of Raven. Overstock.com was actually the first online retailer, the way I understand it, to accept Bitcoin. And on February 23rd, this was like a defining moment for Ravencoin. On February 23rd, 2018, the Business or Money Insider's Sarah Silverstein interviewed Patrick Byrne and asked about his interest in crypto. And this is what he said right here. I think this is going to play.
Are you interested in everything cryptocurrency, or are you really interested in the blockchain, or where do you separate the two?
Well, I'm not really interested in cryptocurrencies per se, although in general, I guess there's nothing wrong with me saying there's an open source project of which I'm really letting something big out of the bag here, I'll tell you. But there's an open source project called Ravencoin, which Overstock has put millions of dollars into teams. We have people contributing to this open source project. We think this coin actually has quite a future. It's Bitcoin, but 1,000 times more energy efficient, and there's other real interesting virtues to it. So Ravencoin. But other than that, I stay out of the cryptocurrency game. I'm building we're focusing on applications of this technology and not just betting on coins themselves.
And is that the primary purpose of Ravencoin, is to be a more energy efficient version of some of these other cryptocurrencies?
I'd say that's the first feature it brings to the world. But I hear from the open source community and on the message boards, I know what they are working on, and it seems it's really quite I think it was launched January 3rd, and it's as this open source project, and I think it has more, as I heard, the number of miners who are now working on it it is spread faster than any number of miners of any coin introduced. It's really quite a phenomenon, this Ravencoin. So, and what's nice is democratized. Yeah, what happens is, all these coins, like Bitcoin and such, are built on, there's a processor that's solving mathematical problems. And it's possible to build chips that specialize in just that problem. And so you really can't, with your home computer, you're not going to mine any Bitcoin anymore unless you have this dedicated ASIC chip. Well, Ravencoin was designed so you can't do that. It's ASICs resistant. And that's because the problem that you solve keeps flipping randomly amongst a bunch of classic problems. Anyway, you can't solve it efficiently with an ASICs chip, which means it redemocratizes mining. Anyone can download this software, and you don't have an advantage by having this big mining warehouse in China.
And what's your life philosophy? I know you've...
So yeah, that he goes on to talk about some other things, but he actually got into a little bit about the actual x16r algorithm and stuff like that. It's kind of cool to see him talking about that. Pretty neat stuff. Yeah, so that was Patrick Byrne and what he said way back when. And as far as something really exciting, is there is an actual real world use case being implemented by Medici Land Governance, which is a subsidiary, golly, I can't talk anymore, subsidiary of Overstock. And what they are doing, they're using the Raven blockchain to support land governance. Now, here in the US, we don't worry too much about land governance because, you know, for the most part, we trust records held by the county and the state and all that stuff. But you got to think about emerging markets. There's less record keeping, or the records have been destroyed by natural disasters. An example would be, you know, you own a piece of property in a Caribbean island, right? And you're sitting there, you've got this great location on the ocean, whatever, and along comes a hurricane and wipes out you know, your documentation, wipes out the building that stores the documentation for who owns what property on the island, and a dictator government comes in and says, hey, we own this land, now you have to pay us again, or you can rent it, or whatever. Well, you can see where that would be a problem, and that has happened. That does happen. So that is just another use case for, you know, property management using a blockchain type system such as Ravencoin. So really cool stuff. I definitely, if you haven't looked into Ravencoin, you probably should, especially as a miner. It is it's a really good project. If you look back at some of my tweets and videos, you might see or hear me saying one of the reasons crypto adoption is so low in the US is that we don't really need it to survive. I mean, who carries cash everywhere you go? We just have a card, we swipe to purchase things, and all our money is already digital, right? But ask the people in Venezuela how important cryptocurrency is to them, right? So that's just a little blurb on the importance of you know, cryptocurrency, and for us in the US, you know, it doesn't necessarily, that's why we're having a little bit of problems with adoption, right? It's just because we don't need to have it at this point. So let's talk about wallets for a moment, since there are quite a few options. The desktop QT wallet can be downloaded from their GitHub. I know I'm kind of a little bit behind on time here. I don't know if, do you know if does anybody know if Brandon's going live tonight? I wasn't sure. So their wallet is available here on their GitHub. And the current version is, the desktop QT wallet is 2.2.2. They also have a Zelcore wallet, and the Zelcore wallet, the mobile wallet, this is not a Ravencoin asset, this is our Ravencoin product. It's actually a Zelcash or Zelcore wallet. And they actually recently enabled asset capabilities for Raven on that wallet. So that is really cool as well. And you also have the Coinomi wallet that you can mine to. So you got a lot of different options as far as you know, wallets and things like that. So that is kind of cool. That's not the camera I wanted. Let's do that one. All right, so let's talk about mining real quick. I know I only have 5 minutes on that. You know, Ravencoin, to me, it's a really good project. I like it a lot. So I wanted to talk a little bit more than I normally would about the particular project. You know, if we were just going to find something to mine or whatever. So yeah, I hope that gives you a pretty good little overview of what Ravencoin is about. We could probably mine it in 5 minutes, but I think that what I might do is wait until tomorrow. We'll start at the normal time, 9:30, and we'll just jump right into mining it instead of talking about what it is, right? I mean, I'll need to talk about the mining specific info and how it compares to Bitcoin and stuff like that. But as far as all the other stuff that we just talked about, like about the project, I won't do that. We'll just get right into the mining part of it. So we'll turn Ravencoin into a 2-day project like we've done in the past. So with other things, let me check the chat, see what's going on in there. Hopefully that is okay with you guys. Can't tell how many is actually watching here. It says 6. Okay. I'm surprised my machine hasn't locked up. That's good. Knock on wood, right? Let me go and check and see if Brandon is going live. Okay, so it looks like he's going to premiere. So he's doing another premiere video, not live. It's like pre-recorded, but he might be on there chatting. So I am going to sign off of here. I will see you guys tomorrow, not the same time. Tonight we started at 9:15, and I talked about Ravencoin for 45 minutes straight. And I didn't even really cover everything I wanted to. So tomorrow we'll probably, we'll probably go on, we'll start with some wallet stuff, a little light wallet stuff, and then go right into the mining and just get after it that way. So that is going to do it for me. Thanks so much for you watching and subscribing and liking and all that stuff. What's up, Red Panda? I didn't know you were here. Yeah, let's head over and watch Brandon Coin's premiere. It looks like he's going to be talking about Honey Miner. And yeah, let's check it out. Let me post the link over here in the chat, in case you didn't know. Get some sleep. Why, I look tired? Are you going to get some sleep? All right, guys. I will see y'all tomorrow. Same time. Almost same time. 9:30. We'll start at 9:30. Yeah, pretty cool. Take a look at Raven if you haven't already. I will see you guys tomorrow night, 9:30. You know what to do. Stay savage.